Morning everybody, nice and early start, back into the normal routine, get those kids to school, videos, got the crack of dawn, and a bit of working out, if I can face it. Right, so what we were looking at yesterday on the Patreon live stream was effectively the same as we always look at, which is altcoins bleeding slowly, some altcoins bleeding fast, some altcoins potentially turning around, but for the most part, the only thing that really stood out yesterday, surprisingly, was Ethereum. And this is where Ethereum was last night, pushing into that resistance. So there's your 200 exponential moving average on the 4-hourly. Basically, it's a death cross retest, and they have a nice clean rejection from it already. This is the first time we've hit a 200 exponential since all the way back here around January 25th, where basically it's just a record, pretty much a month ago, really, where we did go out a little bit and got knocked all the way down. This is what death crosses do. They give you a big rejection, a V-shaped recovery in the opposite direction, continuation to new lows. Now we've had bullish divergence around this line, and this line is no ordinary line. This line, you can back test it, goes back quite a long way for Ethereum, and it's found more or less peaks. It's got your super support, bang, 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 and it's got the breakdown and resistance. And so we were looking at it yesterday. I've been looking at it for like a week now, really, and thinking that if it's going to turn around from anywhere, this would be a really good place for it to turn around. Not just because of that horizontal, but because we've got bullish divergence leading into the horizontal, and that's normally a sign of significance, where you look for a bounce, a turnaround, maybe even a reversal. And if the reversal takes place, you've got all these areas you've got to take out first. You've got 0.3, then you got all the way up here 0.37, and then from there the previous areas that are lost when you're measuring from the lows. So we're talking 0.44, then we're talking 0.5, and then blah blah blah. So the sky is the limit once the reversal takes place. At the moment, we've got to look for some kind of reversal, unfortunately. So yeah, like we were saying on the stream last night, when you push into a resistance, you have to expect to be rejected. That's the norm, right? Just as when you push into a support, you should expect to see a bounce. So there you have it. You've had your rejection. So now we're going back down to support. So what's most likely from a support? Well, to be supported, to have a bounce from it. So that's your Bitcoin to Ethereum, Ethereum to your Bitcoin pair. Let's have a look at just Ethereum USDT pair. So this is also quite good for support at the moment. So we had this rounded bottom, which still exists, and we've got this support that's taken place already today on the center of the Bollinger Band. Okay, cool. And if you take it to the 4-hourly, you can see that there was that resistance was backed up by 200 simple and exponential. It's all part of this diagonal trend line, all part of that really, that comes in at 2,900. Once that's broken, we're talking 3,000, 3,100, and then once 3,100 is broken, you're looking for a bit more than that, and probably at that stage, you could probably call reversal and see a new local and all-time high get printed relatively soon after that. But unfortunately, like I said, I went to bed last night. So, we were looking at the that death cross retest, on the Bitcoin Ethereum pair. Sorry, Ethereum to Bitcoin pair. And as much as we were like excited, optimistic, we said yes, it's likely to get rejected. So let's just hold our horses. Let's just stand back and relax. Probably is going to get rejection. A good night, everybody, and went to bed. Woke up this morning, not entirely impressed with what I saw, although statistically most likely situation occurred, didn't it? So there you have it. And all I can tell you now is that as of this very moment in time, this very second in time, statistically you're more likely to find a bounce around 2,700 than you are to break down from it. And again, it's not massive odds, but odds are in your favour for a bounce from this level. Right, so let's have a little look at futures markets. This is your US 500, S&P's pre-market. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit of a bounce here on the 50 exponential. That's okay then, because there was a big washout on Friday, which is where we left it. So we're seeing a bit of a bounce at the moment, up 0.5%. you know, I know it's not the best thing anyone's ever seen, but 0.5% is better than continuation down. The Dixie continuing to go down, sort of as we expected, really. So if we're going to get a bounce, it'll be around 105.7. That's what we'll be looking at there. Oil. So oil, we kind of looked at this briefly on the Patreon last night. We've got Death Cross, we're sort of moving down below moving averages and horizontals. It does look like it wants to continue to go down, but there's a huge support around $67. Why am I talking about oil? What is it? What am I talking about oil for? Why are we talking about oil? Well, oil, if goes up, inflation, usually prints up. If oil goes down, inflation usually prints lower. So this is like a barometer for inflation, in the CPIs to come. The more times you push a support, the more likely it is to break, by the way. So all we see at this stage now is lower highs and this major support that's around 67. Now, obviously, you'd expect it to bounce initially, so probably worth trying a position, long position on it, with a tight stop loss. But in the event that it breaks down from 67, it'll be a bit of a stumbling block, but we are looking for low 60s and maybe even eventually down to around 50. Which would be ace. That would be awesome. So, look, the market and the trading environment, as much as you might feel like it's frustrating and boring, looking forward into the not too distant future for the majority of this year, the landscape is one of a nice trading environment. I know people are talking about recessions and all kinds of problems, but the way I see it, we've got lower rates, we've got inflation is lower. We've got crypto-friendly governments. We've got ETFs. And generally we've got the largest bull market in crypto ever seen, with a series of big highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. So we should really kind of be expecting another higher high just based on the charts. So I appreciate people's concern or frustration or boredom. Crypto bull runs are like this. If you've never been in one before, it's the first time for everything. They are pretty boring, to be honest. They're pretty boring, and in amongst the boredom comes extreme excitement. But for the most part, it is boring, frustrating, testing, and then extremely awesome. So we're in a boring part at the moment, maybe even frustrating for some, but we are just waiting for that spark, which will just turn the corner and allow for the parabolic move and the next higher high to form on the total 2 and whatever altcoin it is that you're holding, so long as it's not a steaming turd. Right, that's enough for this morning. I'll leave it with you there, but thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.